Slide up. I'm just going to keep looking at you and saying slide up until you slide up. Here we go. 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 Better. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you. All right. We want to start this morning. Usually, Riley would be here talking about how many friends you've invited and where we're at on our incentive program. But she is next door preparing to have her baby Stevie dedicated. And if this is all we have, we'll probably slip over there to watch that. So that'll be fun. But in the meantime, I want to cover the stuff that she would normally cover. So here's where we're at right now. You guys have invited 20 friends so far, a little bit more than that. So you've got a movie night that we are planning right now so that you guys can enjoy that. If you get 40 leaders or 40 friends invited, you guys will get to pie the leaders in the face. I don't know who came up with these. It wasn't me. But so you can pie us. If you invite 60 friends, we will kick off a pool party for you. If you get 75 friends invited, we will share our high school photos. Again, I don't know why we want to revisit these days of my youth, but that's what you get. This one, actually, I think we're going to have to change because I never signed off on this. I don't think I agree to this. 80, if you invite 80 friends, I will color my hair, and apparently you get to choose the color. And pink, I think I can live with pink. The only one that is a hard veto is the rainbow. I'm not doing that. I'm not representing that. If you invite 100 friends, we will give you a lock-in. If you get 150, I don't know who came up with these. We're going to get tattoos, and you get to choose them for some ridiculous unknown reason. So invite a friend. Hey, and this goes for everything we do as a senior high ministry. Is invite a friend, invite a friend, invite a friend, invite a friend. Invite someone to come to an event. Invite someone to come Sunday morning. Invite someone to come to our small group Sunday nights that are kicking off. Invite someone to everything. Everything is something that we can invite a friend to. Go to, it's time. Yeah, bring it up. Bring it up. Somebody run it up to me. Someone run it up. It's time. Time. It's impossible. All right, so we every week we do the impossible shot, and we randomly select a chair aisle and a chair number, and that person gets to come up and take a shot at the impossible shot. Good luck, because it's impossible. But if you were to happen to make the impossible shot, you would win the grand prize, and each week someone doesn't hit the impossible shot, which they won't because it's impossible. Thank you. It goes up $2.50. So currently, the grand prize is up to $27.50 Amazon gift card. If you make the impossible shot, you will receive that, and you will get to go home with that. Now, don't worry if you don't, and when you don't hit the impossible shot, because it's impossible, you will still go home with a prize, likely an expired can of Spam. But let's see how this plays out. The chosen number this week was row 3, seat 6.
Let's go.
Oh, it's Grace. All right. Row, seat 6. Great. Make some noise for Grace as she comes up for the impossible shot. Okay. Have you done this before?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you make it before?
No.
No. Did you come close? No. No. All right. Well, here we go. Give it a shot. The impossible shot. Oh, so close. Not really, but give it a shot again. You missed the, you want to hit the hole in the middle. You got to, so far back. Okay. No, you haven't even hit the target yet. Okay, try one more time, and then we'll go spin the wheel of doom and get you your can of Spam. This is the one, she says. All right. Oh, you hit the target. All right, come on over. Let's spin the wheel. All right. Come on over and spin the wheel. Give it a spin. Where'd that last start go? Okay. I wonder what it's going to be. How do you like your Spam?
I didn't get Spam last.
Do you like it raw, or do you like to fry it up and put it on toast?
I don't think I've ever had.
You've never had Spam? Man, we got to make sure you get Spam. Come on, Spam. Come on, Spam. Come on, Spam. And you have won a free smoothie. Make some noise for Grace. She didn't get Spam. All right, the last thing that I want to talk about this morning is an opportunity for you guys. It's a new thing we're starting. And We talk about you guys getting plugged in and serving here at church, and you go, Matt, what opportunities are there? Well, I'm kicking off a new opportunity for you guys to be involved, to have a place where you belong, and a place to serve, and we call it the Student Leadership Team. And this is a team of students who will help come alongside myself and the adult leaders to look at the ministry, look at the things we do, and decide, do we continue doing these things? Do we stop doing these things? Do we do different things? How can we make this a student ministry that is engaging and exciting and something that you would want to invite your friends to, something that your friends would want to come to? So if you want to be a part of this, you can grab one of these off the Welcome Center, take it home. Inside there is information about leadership and what it is. There's information about the timeline and the makeup team of the student leadership team, the qualifications, expectations, all of that. If you read through all of that and you still decide, yeah, this is something I think I want to do, then go ahead and fill out the application. There are 3 reference letters on here that I'm going to ask you to do too. And one of them, if you can't get it, that's okay. There's a parent or guardian reference letter, so give this to mom or dad and say, hey, would you recommend me for the student leadership team? Hopefully they would agree with you. There is a teacher reference. I know you guys are out of school, so if you can't get your teacher reference, don't worry about that one. But then there is also a small group leader reference form. So slide that over to your small group leader and have them fill that out and refer you to the group. And then we will decide who we choose for the leadership team. And we will meet on a regular basis throughout the summer and throughout the school year so that, again, you can come alongside and help us figure out what are the worthwhile things to do so that we can reach students to help them meet and follow Jesus. Right now, though, why don't we welcome the worship team up on stage, and let's get ready to worship. Here we go. Worship team, where they at? Oh, watch this announcement. Yeah, the ridiculous announcement video first. Watch this.
Uh-oh.
What's up, church? My name is Matt.
I'm Riley.
I'm Josh, and we just want to say,
Welcome to church.
I forgot. I already forgot. If you have any prayer requests, you can come scan the QR code and let us know what you want us to pray for you about. And if you only want Matt to know about it, just mark the box and come let us know what events you're doing. Amen.
If you came this morning to if you came prepared to worship God with an offering this morning, you can put it in the black box on this beautiful green wall. We support 3 kids, Ian, Saw, and Wildy.
If it's your first time here, fill out a welcome card and take it to the cafe to get a free drink. Goodbye forever.
Goodbye. Matt, you're old.
Hi, Grace. Hey, everyone. You guys want to stand up? No. Let's stand up.
You can turn the pad off. I don't know if you know how to do that. I'm just going to have a cookie. Hey, for those of you new to this room, just so you know, we always provide snacks and coffee in the back of the room. If you guys get hungry and you want a little snacky, you can get one of those. It's okay. It's probably not professional to eat and teach at the same time now, so I'm going to stop.
When are you ever professional about
Hey, easy. Welcome back, Keely. Missed you. Thanks for joining the conversation. Here we go. This morning. Good morning. Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Matt. I'm the youth pastor, and I'm so glad that you're here to start the party with us this week. We have been moving through a series that Josh started, not last week, because last week was the outdoor service, but 2 weeks ago, Josh started it, a series we called Start the Party. And it's all about the promise that Jesus made to us about getting the most out of life. See, you have what it takes to be a party starter in this life. And that's why we're taking time to talk about what that means. Because each and every one of us has that ability. We have that in us. Now, raise your hand if you love a good party. Where are my party people at? Okay. All right. I love a party. But when we talk about party in this series, I want to be sure that we know that we're all talking about the same thing. When we talk about a party in this series, we're talking about any effort to celebrate, serve, or enjoy being with others in a way that adds value to life. So with that in mind, being a party starter simply means you're the one doing those things and inviting other people to join in on it. That's what we're talking about today. Now, before we get into what kind of party starters we want to be this week, let me tell you a real quick story. Some of you know my story. I grew up as a single-parent family. My mom raised me and my sister, who's the oldest, my brother's the middle, I was a baby. And growing up, one of my favorite parts of summertime was going camping. And I was in a Boy Scout troop, and we would go every year up into the mountains to summer camp. And I really enjoyed it because it was like my one time throughout the entire year because we were pretty poor. I didn't get away a lot. I didn't get to go to a lot of camps. And so this one was like a week-long camp up in the mountains, and I got to get away from chores and responsibility and my mom and like everything else, and I got to just spend a week hanging out at a week on the lake with my friends for the whole week. Now, near the end of my freshman year, we got a new adult leader in the troop. And in Boy Scouts, they call that adult leader. He's the troop master. And so, the scoutmaster. And so, we got a new scoutmaster, and this new guy came in, and I wasn't really sure about him. His name, he said, call him Mr. C. So, I still call him Mr. C to this day. And Mr. C was a cool dude. He was a successful businessman. He was a certified public accountant, had his own business. He was powerful and wealthy. He was a former Marine Corps drill instructor, so he was kind of hard as nails. Like, he expected a lot and, like, enforced this discipline that we didn't have in the troop before him. But I really looked up to Mr. C, and Mr. C encouraged me to run for election to be the main leader boy in the troop. And this is something, like, you know my story, I like absolutely outside of my character, outside of my natural state of being. Because in J-High, when I was in 7th grade, I told you guys before, I had a bully, and it was brutal. And in 8th grade, I had that same bully, and it was still brutal. And so my defense mechanism was to slide beneath the radar. I didn't want anyone to see me. I didn't want anyone to hear me. I didn't want anyone to know that I existed or that I, took up space in the planet, on the world. I just wanted to be invisible. And here Mr. C is saying, no, I think you would make a great leader. I think you would be a benefit to the troop. And like, he talked me up so much and he supported me so much that I decided to run for this position. And like, somehow I got the job. I won the position, and then he and I, being the scoutmaster and I was the boy leader, we worked together on a lot of things to improve the troop and plan meetings and outings. In fact, Mr. C offered me a summer job over my sophomore year and like helped me earn money to buy my first car. Mr. C helped me develop these leadership and public speaking skills. But what was even more amazing is that Mr. C, I was taking acting classes at this private acting studio, and he paid for a lot of those classes because my family couldn't afford to pay for them. See, I grew up without a dad in my home, but Mr. C was one of the men that God put in my life to guide me and to teach me. And here's the thing. He didn't have to. Like none of those things were in the job description of Scoutmaster. He didn't have to take me under my wing. He didn't have to guide me and teach me and help me. Like, that was above and beyond anything that he had to do. Now, why am I telling you this story? Well, because I think we could all use a few more people like Mr. C in our lives. Like we need people to show up, people who care, people who go above and beyond. Like those are the party starters. The people who do things even though they don't have to do them. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, like the whole idea of doing more than I'm asked, that's not easy. Like it's like that's not an easy concept. And I think that's probably why we really tend to notice those people who go above and beyond, who do more than the bare minimum, who do more than what is expected, because it just really doesn't happen that often, and that's what makes it stand out. I think if we're honest, most of us, myself included, would say that it's easier to do the bare minimum, right? Nod your head if you agree. It's easier just to do the bare minimum. And so that's what we end up doing. Like, yeah, we could do more. We could say more. We could help more. We could show up more. We could be there more. But like no one's asked us to do that. No one's invited me into that space. It's not required of us, and so we don't. Right? We slide through doing the bare minimum, just what's expected of me, and that's all I'm doing. Like we do it in our schoolwork, we do it in our chores at home, we do it in our friendships. And of course, like this bare minimum approach doesn't come from a bad place. It's not like we're trying to be bad people. It's not like we're trying to be bad friends. It's just where we come from. And there's different reasons. Like sometimes we do this because we're honestly just tired. Like we're just exhausted. Maybe you can't give more to someone else because you need someone to help you right now. Raise your hand if you know who the band Pearl Jam is. Anyone heard of Pearl Jam? Pearl Jam, a few of you guys? All right, Pearl Jam. Lead singer of Pearl Jam is, you don't know. It's okay. It's okay. It's an old reference. Eddie Vedder. Guy named Eddie Vedder. And back when Pearl Jam in the 90s, when Pearl Jam first got really popular, Eddie Vedder said something that like stuck with me. It was a quote that like hit in the realest kind of way. Eddie Vedder said, "It's hard to save someone from drowning when you're treading water yourself." Like it's hard to give more than's expected if you're struggling just to keep your head above water. And I get that. Like maybe you can't give more because you're just barely getting by right now. Sometimes extra effort doesn't seem like it would be any benefit, so we just don't do it, right? Like you look at a problem, like maybe it's like world hunger, right? You look at a problem like world hunger, and you go, man, what could I do to solve world hunger? Like I don't possibly have enough time or money or resources to make that much of an impact, right? So we just don't do anything. We just do the bare minimum. Maybe you buy a smoothie from the Clearwater Cafe and say, man, I'm doing my part because like I'm helping provide clear water to people in third world countries where you can get a water filter because I bought a smoothie and a muffin on Sunday morning. Sometimes our bare minimum, maybe it's the result of fear. Maybe you were like me in J High, like you want to help someone out, but you're scared like you'll mess it up, or maybe you're afraid you'll embarrass yourself, or that you'll do or say the wrong thing, and so we just don't do anything, right? Sometimes it's the lack of motivation. That's why we don't do anymore. Maybe you're just not motivated to do much more than what you have to do right now, and so we just don't do anything. See, no matter the reason, hear me when I say this. I think on some level, this bare minimum approach to helping others is true of all of us. Like at some point in time, we all hit in this space. But I wonder if you stop to consider it, if this is the kind of person you want to be. Like, is that who you want to be? Is that who you want to be known as? Do you want to be someone who lives life at a minimum? Do you want to be someone who does little more than what they have to do for someone else? Or do you think you might want to be someone who does a little more? Someone who chooses to go the extra mile. Someone who lives more like a party starter when it comes to helping other people. See, in this series, we're talking about what it means to live this full and amazing life that Jesus came for us to have. I'm going to pause my message for just 1 second. Everyone turn around, look at Neville, and give him a cheer and a clap. He just got baptized this morning. Let's go. Make some noise for Neville. Congratulations, party starter. Part of living the life of a party starter is choosing to go the extra mile. How do I know? Well, because of Jesus' example. Everything about Jesus' life, his ministry, his death, and resurrection was about going the extra mile for people he loved. Paul, one of the first leaders in the Christian church, put it this way. In Romans 5:8, he says, God demonstrates his own love for us in this. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. If you ever really stopped and thought about that, have you ever really contemplated what that means? Man, it should hit different, because this is an extreme example of the extra mile. See, Jesus didn't wait for us to ask. Jesus didn't wait for us to prove that we deserved it. He didn't wait for us to get it right. He didn't wait for us to show our gratitude. He didn't wait for us to promise never to mess up again. No, while we were still in the middle of our sin, in the middle of our mess, Jesus went the extra mile. He died for us simply because he loves us. And if you've never thought about that before, that's a pretty big deal. Jesus took this extra mile step, even one step further. He didn't just do it for us and tell us not to worry about our own lives. Jesus called us to follow his lead. He wants us to do the same for others. That word demonstrates or means God let Jesus' life show us a picture of what God is really like. So when we go the extra mile for others, we get to show other people what God is like. Looking for moments when someone goes the extra mile is one way to look for and see God at work through people in the everyday. Now, before we get to his actual words, let me give you a little background on what's going on at the time Jesus said what we're going to look at. During the time of the Roman Empire, when Jesus was here, the Roman soldiers had all the power. They were the alpha. They had all the power, and everyone else was beneath them. They could get away with just about anything, especially when it came to the Jewish people, because most of them weren't even Roman citizens. So during that time, there was this practice that basically said a Roman soldier could demand someone carry their belongings, their heavy armor and their big spears and their swords, their gear, everything, for a full mile. So they could roll up and just come up to you and say, hey, you're going to carry my gear. And there was nothing you could do about it. You would have to pick up whatever they gave you, and you would have to carry it for a mile. Right? You had no choice. They had all the power. It's kind of messed up, right? Imagine if high school were that, and you seniors, you could pick any freshman or sophomore and go, hey, you carry my books to my class. I mean, that'd be messed up, right? But that's what happens here. The Roman soldiers are in extreme control. It's kind of messed up. And when you hear that story, you probably kind of expect Jesus to say something like, yeah, look, you don't have to listen to them. Or maybe you expect Jesus to say, look, don't help those soldiers do anything because they're oppressing our people. But instead, I want you to take a look at what Jesus said. Jesus said in Matthew 5:41, he said, if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with them 2 miles. Wait, what? Why would he say that? Why would he say that? Jesus wants us to go another mile? Why would he want us to go another mile? To do more than what's required of us. To help someone even when they've done nothing to deserve it. He says, I don't want you to just go 1. Don't just do the bare minimum that you're required to do. He says, I want you to go 2. I want you to go above and beyond. Regardless of their circumstances, regardless if they deserve it or not. Jesus is telling us, he's encouraging us to go above and beyond, to do more than the minimum. And he says, don't wait to be told to do it. Don't wait till it's an expectation. He says, do it just for the sake of helping, because that's what a party starter does. I want you to think of it this way. A party starter does more than what's asked of them. A party starter does more than what's asked of him. He's asking us to partner with him to do more for others, whenever and however we can. It's more of an invitation to follow Jesus' lead and start the party right here, right now, by going the extra mile for other people whenever we can. Now, let me be clear, because I'm not suggesting that you should do so much for someone else that it causes you harm. Right? That's not what I'm saying. Like, you have to take care of yourself. You need good, healthy boundaries to know when you've done enough or when things you just don't have that much to give, right? Jesus isn't asking us to do something out of obligation or because someone else is using their power to make us do something. That's not what he's talking about. But what do we do with all this? If we want to be party starters who do more than what's asked of us, like, where do we start? Well, I think a great place to start is with the question that we asked earlier. What kind of person do you want to be? What kind of person do you want to be? Do you want to be someone who does the minimum, who just barely scrapes by, least effort possible? Or do you want to be someone who goes the extra mile? Now, before we move forward, you have to decide who you want to be. You have to be intentional about it. You have to decide in advance how you're going to respond. Because if you choose not to respond, you're actually choosing to respond probably in a poor way. So you have to decide in advance. Do I want to be someone who goes the extra mile? Do I want to be someone who cares more about other people? And then you make a decision to do something you don't have to do. And it's okay to start small. Right? It doesn't have to be this grand, giant gesture. You can start with something small. Remember, the extra mile is going to look different for all of us in our unique situations in life. So think about just one way that you can go an extra mile this week. Like, what's one thing you can do? Like, think about, what would happen, Oliver, if you did more to help around the house this week without being asked? Like, maybe it's just picking your clothes up off the floor. I don't know what your room looks like. I'm just assuming your clothes. Are your clothes on the floor? What might it look like if you were generous and kind to someone that you knew was lonely? And that could start right here. Like, every week out in this cafe, I guarantee you, every week in this cafe, there's kids who have walked in for the first time, and they're standing there looking at all of you who already have friends, who are already connected in social relationships, and they're going, man, I don't even know how to get connected to that. And so they just stand by the wall, alone and lonely. Like, it's a simple thing. You can help a friend right here in church. You can be a friend to someone who's lonely. You can find a friend who needs help, and you know it, and you can help them. Anyone ever heard the term roll out the red carpet? You ever heard that term? Or what does it mean? You nodded your head, September. What does it mean? Yeah. Yeah, you make it fancy, and it's all dressed up, right? Chances are we've heard that saying before. Maybe we don't know what it means. People use it to describe like these incredible service or top-tier experiences or like special occasions, like when you watch like the award shows, like the Grammys or Oscars. Like, the celebrities show up and they get out of their big fancy cars, and what do they walk up on? They walk up on the... Somebody said, no, not the orange carpet. It's the red carpet. They walk up on the red carpet. The red carpet represents going above and beyond to make someone feel important, unique, and celebrated. So what would it look like if we were the kind of people who decided to roll out the red carpet for other people wherever we go? Like, not literally, right? Because that would be ridiculous and kind of weird. Like, you couldn't fit it in your backpack. It's just like, do you carry it in? It'd be strange if we were just walking around with a red carpet. But how do we do it in ways that we treat others? We can go the extra mile for the people around us, and in serving others in ways that we don't have to, but we choose to, in order to make a positive impact in their lives and in ours. When I think of the types of events that like have red carpets, I think of like world-class parties. So it's pretty clear that a party starter is someone who rolls out the red carpet for other people. And over time, you can build this muscle of serving, loving, and caring for others. And I guarantee you'll be glad that you did. Finally, remember that sometimes you need to let someone else walk with you. So like, sometimes you need somebody to go the extra mile for you. Like, that's just part of life. We're all going to have those seasons where we need someone to come along and help us. So if that's the season you're in right now, don't be afraid to speak up. Like, talk to your small group leader or the people in your small group. Like, these are the people around you who want to help you, who want to help you go by going the extra mile. So consider talking to your group today about how you could walk with each other in like through these hard seasons and then beyond. Remember, a party starter does more than what's asked. And that's what I hope you'll consider doing this week as we get ready to head out. I want you to think about this one question. What's one way I can go the extra mile for someone this week? What's one way I can do the extra mile for someone this week? And like maybe that's adding their name to our wall. And if you haven't been in here in a while, we've got these names written on the wall over here. And these are people that we're praying for. These are people who maybe haven't met the Jesus of the Bible yet. They're in our circle, but they haven't received the grace and salvation that Jesus came to give them yet. And so we put their name on this wall so that we can be intentional about praying for them. Intentional about thinking about inviting them to church, inviting them to small group, inviting them to our activities and events so that they could someday, hopefully, meet and follow Jesus too. See, here's the thing, right? You don't have to do everything for everybody, but you can do something for your one. So who's your one? Think about who that person is, and I encourage you to write their name on the wall before you leave, so that we can all be praying for them. I'm going to pray, and then a couple of quick announcements, and we'll head you guys out. Father God, we thank you for this time and this place. God, we thank you for Jesus, your son, and the example that he came to provide for us. God, we thank you for the salvation that we received through him, that he came to do everything so that we could be made right in your sight. And in light of that, God, I pray that you would send us out of this place as people seeking to go the extra mile, to looking for ways that we can serve and help and support people in our lives and communities, that we would be a light in a dark place, that would draw more and more people to you so that they can meet and follow Jesus as well. God, we love you. We pray these things in Jesus' name. And every voice said, amen. All right, a couple quick things. Josh, you want to talk about Sunday nights real quick? You want to talk about that? We got a mic up here.
Was it brought up at all yet?
She talked about the worship night,
Okay.
but not small groups.
That's fine. I just want to make sure I don't have to do both. And this is probably muted, actually.
It seems to be. Just talk loud then.
Yeah, I'll just talk loud, you guys. So Sunday nights moving forward are going to be our small group nights. So you know how we all used to come on Wednesdays, yeah? Yeah? No longer on Wednesdays. So we want you all to have your own space separate from the J-High group so that you guys can have fun, hang out, feel comfortable, play gog ball, and not feel judged by a J-Higher or be embarrassed when an 8-year-old kicks your butt. So
That doesn't happen to these kids.
yeah,
Like first service, some of those kids, but not the kids in this room.
Mason gets his butt kicked. But anyway, but outside of that, yeah, we invite you all to come. So we'll start it off on the 11th, like it was shared, with the night of worship, and have some burgers and brats. Invite your friends; it'll be fun.
Invite a friend, and you can someday color my hair pink, apparently.
Or get a tattoo. Riley really wants his tattoo.
Secondly, if you're dealing with junk, if you got junk in your life, we have a group called The Landing, 6:30 to 8:30 every Tuesday, where we meet and give you the tools you need to work through your hurts, habits, and hang-ups so that you can live the best free life that God wants for you. If you're interested in that, come talk to me or Riley, and we can give you information about that. If you have any questions about Jesus, God, the Bible, life in general, I'll hang out for a few minutes here after service. Love to talk to you about that. Other than that, enjoy your holiday weekend. Have a great summer. Be safe. Come join us for the stuff we got going on. You guys are all awesome, and you are out of here.